We, gentlemen, are here to discuss the man of bats, the Batman himself.
Na 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 na
Mhm.
na na Dende Dende
Dende. Nail.
No.
So,
na 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 Dende Dende
Guru,
Dende
Nail's here.
Nail.
at
I
that,
saw a bird.
it was a
It was
lovely bird.
pretty.
Kick its ass.
Um, so Jake, did you watch anything other than Batman versus Superman? If indeed you watched Batman versus Superman,
I did not rewatch it.
that's all cool because we'll just run through the show in the regular format, back and forth. And if you've seen it, feel free to chime in. I'm sure you've seen most of these. If you haven't seen it, we'll learn something new.
We
Um,
watched a lot, so there's a
a lot
wide
of Batman.
array.
there's a wide array, and I feel
Bat,
like,
Bat, Batman and Batman adjacent.
and I have an interesting
Hmm.
take on Batman that I'm gonna say when I get my when I start off. But Jordan, what is your first Batman thing?
My first Batman thing is the OG Batman the animated series. Um,
Ah,
it's a classic. I love it. It brings in a lot of characters that are staple. I didn't watch all of it, to be fair. This is a rapid fire, so I watched a good chunk of it. But um, it brings in a lot of characters that have become staples, like Harley Quinn, I
I
believe
was
was
just
introduced in this show.
yes, she
Yes,
was.
she was. The character of Harley Quinn, which was later immortalized in comic book form, but based off of the Bruce Timm universe. She was written into the wider Batman canon later because she was so popular. She was supposed to be a one episode character. Can you believe that?
I
I
know,
know,
right?
and she's become such an integral part of the DC universe.
I mean,
Um,
Mark Hamill Joker, which we're gonna be talking about
Mark
a lot
Hamill
today,
Oh,
by the way.
Joker. You have, I mean, if there's um so many characters. I'm blanking on Mr. Freeze. Thank you. That's it. I'm ashamed that it took me that long to think of him. The story that they introduced him with this in this show is so tragic. And one of the things that I really like about Batman the Animated Series, and it kind of it made me realize that I think the live action movies are kind of missing this, is the fact that Batman isn't just straight about beating the shit out of his villains. Um, he
He's
wants to
sometimes
help
that.
them get better. He is sometimes that, but like a good interpretation of Batman is usually that he also wants to help his villains, rehabilitate them, and turn them back into functional members of society, and not just have an endless repeat cycle of him beating them up, sending them to Arkham, they break out, he beats them up, rinse and repeat. And so I forgot how much I loved this show. I grew up with it. It's one that I watched so much growing up, and I sort of forgot how much I love it.
I
And
love.
that's
it's so
kind of
good
that's
though.
that's my final thoughts on that one. It's just I love it.
I
Well,
mean,
to your point, one of my favorite Batman moments of all time. It's actually from Justice League Unlimited, but or yeah, I think it might be the end of Justice League the series, but either way, it's talking about how it shows it's a flashback, but the premise is that Ace of the Royal Flush Gang, the Ace that's the young girl and has psychic powers,
hmm,
Mm.
um, she somehow, some way, like transmutated all of Gotham City, and Amanda Waller's involved. So she's trying to kill somebody, um, and she's saying that the only way to end this is for Ace to die, and Batman says, "I'll do it," and then he goes in there, and he knows that Ace is dying, and not only dying, but dying like now-ish, like it's
yeah.
gonna happen any minute, and he knows this. He has no intention of killing this child,
No,
Yeah.
he
none
just sits there with
whatsoever.
her. Yeah.
I die.
Yes,
I'm dying very soon.
yes. I'm sorry.
Could you stay with me? I'm scared.
He sits there with her, and I'm like, that's Batman, and that's why
Right?
that's why I hate Pattinson so much.
Because he just beats. But
Um,
I mean, to be fair to Batson,
or like in another episode, one of the ones with Harley Quinn, where it's after Harley Quinn has kind of quit being Harley Quinn and she's just trying to have a normal day. And at the end of it, she's like, why did you stick around with me and be so nice to me all day? And he's just like, I had a bad day once too. And it's like, that's Batman. Like, that's my
Yeah, that
Batman.
is
yeah,
Batman.
that is Batman. And then yeah, watching Mark Hamill Joker just makes me go, man, I miss when the Joker wasn't gross and weird like he is now. Like, why does every version of the Joker have to be gross and weird now? Why can't we have Clown Prince of Crime Joker again? I miss Clown Prince of Crime Joker.
So are you lumping Heath Ledger's into that?
He starts it, but he's not the worst of it. Is how I would
I
put
was gonna
it.
say he kind of towards the end of the movie he kind of becomes a clown, like a more chaotic clown Prince of Crime. But
like I'm more
Yeah,
talking like
I think he still stays in the camp of Clown Prince. He's not quite Jared Leto.
he's not Jared Leto
Well-
or the god awful one in the Batman. And I like the Batman. We're not going to be talking about the Bat. Well, we're going to be talking something the Batman adjacent today. But we're not going to be talking about the Batman today. But
we're
I
gonna
like
be talking about Light.
no, Colin Farrell.
That's the same movie. You
It's this-
do realize.
I liked the Batman. Tolerated it. I was gonna watch it, and then I remembered it was 3 hours long, and who has the time? But like,
So here's the thing for me is when Justin said Batman, I immediately was like, well, okay, I'd like to watch some Batman stuff that I actually like, and I've already done the dark like the Batman Begins and like all of those ones. So I'm just gonna not do any live action.
yeah, I didn't hit any of the Nolan stuff.
So all of mine are animated.
You made the right decision because
I think so too.
yeah, there are some very, very good live action Batman films, but I mean, for me at least, the animated stuff
It's just so good.
Even the animated movies, because to me, Warner Brothers Animation, not just Batman, all of their characters, Warner
Nails
Brothers
it.
Animation understands these characters.
Sure.
The live action studio, they don't have a fucking clue.
So
Like
I
they are
agree.
so lost.
you know what? I've got two things.
I 100% agree with that.
I've got
I'm
my.
sorry, I have to shoehorn this in because this is a Superman moment, but Batman's involved. It's actually a really badass moment for both of them because this moment, it's my favorite Superman moment, bar none, of all time. This one is at the end of Justice League Unlimited, I do believe. It's Darkseid is on Earth, he's wrecking shit, and then Batman is actually going toe to toe with Darkseid, and then I'm sorry, he's going toe to toe with Darkseid's kid at one point, and then the Darkseid's son is like,
I've seen this. Yeah.
you know, like, you think you stand a chance of beating me? And he's like, I'm not trying to beat you. He's like, I'm trying to stall you. Stall me for what? And then Superman taps him on the shoulder and fucks him up. But a little bit later on in that fight, Superman, because again, Batman jumps on Darkseid, and then Superman comes in, and Superman gives this unbelievable speech. And I tell people this: if you ever find Superman boring, it's because you haven't seen this, because this is Superman. This made me a fan of Superman, this scene right here, because at first I was like, Superman's so boring, and he can get killed with a pebble, and this, that, and the other. And then I watched this scene, and I was like, oh, I get it now. I totally get the character of Superman. I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially says, he's like, you know, I live in a world made of cardboard. I always have to, you know, keep it under control, because if I lose control, even for a moment, I could kill people. And then he's like unloading on Darkseid, and he said, but you can take it. So this is a rare opportunity for me to show you how powerful I really am. And then he fucks him up.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die. But you can take it, can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
I remember.
I can picture that. I can picture the exact scene that you're talking about.
It's so good. It's so good. And that's me. I'm like, okay, Bruce Timm and everyone, because Young Justice is another fantastic series.
Oh,
People
yeah.
involved in the animation studio understand these characters,
Um,
and that's why
Um,
their shit is the best. My favorite Batman movie of all time is one of the Warner animated.
Interesting.
and not to get off the subject of Batman and onto Superman too much, but one thing that I think that people kind of, in order to appreciate the stuff where Superman isn't really acting like Superman, which I will be touching on in one of my future ones, you kind of have to see him as the quote unquote boring, blue boy of steel who follows all the rules and he's a Boy Scout. Like you have to
Jordan,
get that version of him.
we're gonna talk about Batman versus Superman. Stop spoiling it for
To
the audience.
I was referring to one of my picks.
And I know you are. Um,
Um,
so I've
but
got a series of ones for my next few. They're all from your shit. They're all from Batman the animated series. So, unless you got anything more to say on Batman the animated series, I want to talk
no,
about
no,
them.
we can. We'll talk about your movie versions of my episodes.
I want to talk about Mask of the Phantasm.
Christmas, for the first time, America's most exciting and legendary motion picture hero comes to the screen like you've never seen him before. The Bat! In an all-new, larger-than-life feature film. Now, the Dark Knight confronts his newest and most menacing villain.
Your angel of death awaits.
The Phantasm.
I want you.
And faces his greatest danger.
Because Mask of the Phantasm is phenomenal. It is truly remarkable what that movie gets away with. Like it is dark for a kids movie.
And the like, don't get me wrong, I love how they did it. I wouldn't change a thing, but that's the kind of a Batman script that for some reason they've never gone. No, I'm not saying do the Phantasm exactly, but like the way that script is constructed, the way the story is told, would be perfect for a live action adaptation.
Right? Because you've got a love interest. You've got a pretty. I'm gonna spoil the end of this movie. You got a pretty decent twist that she's the Phantasm. The movie does a really good job red herring you into thinking that it might be the dad. And yeah, it's definitely like it's right for Hollywood being like Batman doesn't want to be Batman, which you just right. That's one thing that bothered me about it. It ran so antithetical to, in my opinion, the Kevin Conroy version of Batman never has doubt. Like I don't know. I didn't like that he was like, well, at least to me, he never doubts being Batman. At least in my perception of him, he's never like, I don't want to be Batman because of women.
Well, but that's why that story works. It's not women. It's Andrea Beaumont.
It's worse than Batman Forever. I will say that. Whereas like he just wants to quit being Batman so he could be with his girl.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Although I mean
that's also
pretty.
Batman Begins.
I mean that is also Batman
fair
Begins.
enough. And she is not pretty. She's pretty, but you know what I mean. Like,
she is Katie. She is Katie Holmes.
Yeah. And then they downgrade to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
And then she turns into bug-eyed Maggie Gyllenhaal. Oh, that was mean. That was mean. I promised myself I wasn't going to say that joke.
It is funny, and this is a testament to Christian Bale's acting ability. He doesn't act any differently, but it's like not the same woman.
It's not the same. It was definitely not the same woman.
Even. Well, it was funny because I remember the first time I watched that, and I was like, "Wait, is she supposed to be this?" And I'm like, "Okay, she is.
It's supposed to be the same character."
Okay, okay.
Rachel! Who's your plastic surgeon? You're amazing.
It's amazing. Send them my regards.
Oh god!
I will say though,
the Phantasm.
Mask of the VHS cover of Mask of the Phantasm used to scare the piss out of me as a child. Like the Phantasm itself was legit scary. Also, you get to see corpses in this. Like when Joker kills people, it's like, oh yeah, that guy's dead. He's very dead.
Yeah, they couldn't get away with that on TV.
Yeah, you couldn't do that on TV. And yeah, I cannot speak highly enough. Yep. Yeah. A lot of times, like streaming shit makes you kind of forget that went to theaters. Yeah, it absolutely.
Yeah.
This is of streaming quality now, but
I watched it in the movie theater, and I was like,
"Oh, did you?"
Genuinely horrifying.
We didn't watch it.
Genuinely horrifying for a small child.
Yeah, like it isn't. Like I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's PG-13 in the States, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
I think
is it PG-13? No shit.
Actually, that's a good question. I'm going to look that up. I could see it. I could definitely see it.
Here it would just be PG because we don't have a thing for cartoon violence. For us, it's violence. Like, but like real extreme violence. Yeah.
I kind of I get that. I'll be honest. I do agree with your rating system a bit more. Oh, I want
Because I know
the
that
MPAA rating, not the fucking audience score.
I know that Aladdin. Fun fact about
Oh,
Aladdin.
PG.
Oh, it is
That's
PG.
hilarious.
Oh, well, it must be a strong PG then.
A soaring new adventure. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. The animated movie. Coming for a Christmas you'll never forget.
That's it. That's all I got for Mask of the Phantasm. Jordan, what's your next one?
I give it 2
Uh,
thumbs.
Way up. Really good.
So my next one is I consider it kind of a continuation of the last one. It's Justice League, the series.
I think I like that first series, but I don't think that show hits its stride till it becomes unlimited. Like I think that's where it really hits it.
I'd say about halfway through season 1, it's season 2 certainly. But Unlimited's good. Don't get me wrong. Unlimited's very good. But Unlimited becomes more of an ensemble show as opposed to like the core group. But there's pros and cons to each, but they're all really good.
Yeah, they're surprisingly good.
I consider them all kind of offshoots of the same product, which is the Justice League. But this one, I watched a very limited amount because it's a rapid fire. So, but from what I saw, I think it does a really good job of each episode kind of gives the core members of the Justice League their due time. And it definitely feels like they're taking on Justice League level problems. I don't feel like any one of the characters kind of gets overshadowed by the rest. I definitely feel like this version of Batman is still the same version of Batman as Batman in the animated series. A little bit later in his career, maybe, and he's grown a little bit, he's a little wiser, but still very much has that core energy of the Batman from Batman the animated series.
I mean,
that being said, I think the Justice League show that I remember is Unlimited because as I was watching this, it didn't do the amazing theme song that I love so much from the Justice League show. And that's when I kind of had to go and look up and go like, oh, right, that's from Justice League Unlimited.
So
right.
Which one is the amazing theme?
that's
No,
the first one.
Da, 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 da.
That's Unlimited.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking it was going to be, and then I realized that was Unlimited, and I was like, okay, this one's still good, but I like that theme song more.
Justice League Unlimited is the reason why I know who I can't remember what the Charleston characters are. So like the Question, Blue Beetle, the guys that the Watchmen characters are based on. The only reason why I know who the Question is, and I know that Rorschach is based on him, is because of that episode where he's like investigating Supergirl or whatever.
Just such a great episode.
It's really good.
I love the Question, man. I for some reason I've yet to do him as a Halloween costume, but it's on my list.
I did Rorschach for costume party once. It's a fun costume.
Oh, the thing about me is whenever I'm in costume, I'm in character. So the problem with going as the Question is if I'm at a party as the Question, I'm just investigating shit and questioning people.
That's awesome.
My thing with the Question is, and it's funny because the Question's going to come back later, surprisingly. But my thing with him is just like, so he's less shitty Rorschach. That's his deal. Like that's his whole thing. Like he's just like Rorschach, basically.
Well, see, today the Question would just have a YouTube channel.
Right, like an alt-right
which actually I'm kind of surprised that an influencer hasn't done that yet.
I mean, that's what essentially what the Riddler was in the Batman. No, we're not here to talk about the Batman. George, you have anything else to say about Justice League?
It's fun. It's definitely gives fair attention to each of the characters, and I had a good time with it with what I watched of it.
So for my next one, I have to take you guys back to the ancient art and ancient times of VHS tapes. And Jake, do you remember when they used to smack multiple episodes of a TV show together and have the audacity to call it a movie?
Yes, they did that with the first 6 episodes of Gargoyles.
They absolutely did.
Except it actually kind of worked.
It does. That's actually quite good. But I watched a movie when I was a kid called Batman Superman World's Finest.
Than a speeding bullet, and he's the superhero of Gotham City. And now they're teaming up.
A partnership? You're joking.
To battle the most evil villains of the century.
Pay me $1 billion and I'll kill Superman. Deal?
Deal with Joker.
And it was the first time Batman and Superman ever teamed up. And I thought it was a movie. And I went to watch it as a movie today. And I was surprised when there was credits in the middle of my movie. And then I realized it was actually an episode of Superman the Animated Series. And I didn't know that. It blew my mind.
It was a two-parter, was it not?
Three-parter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but the thing is that I will concede that would have been a better script for Batman v Superman, but they were going for more of a. So that movie, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but that movie is kind of a mixture of that 3-episode arc that you're talking about and Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. It's kind of the battle is Dark Knight Returns, but the lead up is more like that 3-episode arc that you were talking about.
A little bit, yeah.
Because in the Dark Knight Returns, Batman and Superman already know each other. They're friends, right?
We're gonna get to it, but that's why that fight doesn't work in that movie. But
I disagree. I think the fight's probably the best part.
Interesting. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I have things to say too. So.
I did enjoy in this thing how they did have a little fisticuffs. My favorite moment is where Superman or Batman throws Superman over his shoulder, and Superman's just like the fucking audacity. He just has this look on his face like what the fuck as he goes over Batman's shoulder is so funny. And I just love how the lesson of those episodes are never trust the Joker. Just don't trust the Joker because he will screw you over and tie you up and blow up most of your buildings. I also really enjoyed the characterization of Lex Luthor. I know this is a Batman thing, but I enjoy how he refuses to get his hands dirty. He just has there's a really funny scene where him and his henchwoman and Harley Quinn are just fighting each other because she does all of his dirty work. She's just taking blows like a champ. And Tim Daly as Superman is also great. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, can't talk enough about how good they are. It's a really fun movie. I really like their initial friction. It's really funny how the tension of the episode is how Bruce Wayne is effectively like yeah, I'm fucking Lois Lane. Every chance he gets, he just has to rub it in his face yeah, I'm sticking it to your girl, Kent. I'm sticking it to your girl. Yeah. And it's just funny because in that episode she finds out he's Batman, but never finds out that Clark Kent's Superman somehow.
Yeah.
Good series. Good couple of episodes though. I had fun. I enjoyed them. Clearly you've seen them.
Times the action, 2 times the danger, and 2 times the excitement. The Batman Superman movie.
It's over, Joker.
It hasn't begun, Sylvie.
This new DVD features extras like Get the Picture Batman and Superman, The Joker's Challenge Game, an introduction by producer-director Bruce Timm, a music video, and much more.
I'd say the timing couldn't be better.
Now on videocassette and DVD from Warner Brothers Family Entertainment.
They are fun. Yeah, that's a good batch of episodes. Another really good batch of episodes is Batman, the new animated series, where Batman goes missing and Superman goes to Gotham and impersonates Batman for a bit.
And he has to fight Bane. He fights Bane. Yeah, that was good. That's fun. That was a fun one. Yeah, the new Batman animated series, you could tell that's when that movie or that series of episodes kind of took place around because Batman has weird gadgets. He's got claw hands and stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, this is clearly... But then it also kind of seems to be kind of early on at the same time because they sort of established that Batman still is kind of like an urban legend kind of status. He's still in that kind of era of his career. So yeah, I don't know. But I
don't think that timeline quite pans out. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, they kind of go back and forth on that, because in some episodes Batman's really well known, and then a couple episodes later he's back to being this kind of obscure urban legend.
Yeah, it's
And it
weird.
varies
Like
by series.
there's that one episode where it's all the all the kids talking about Batman, which is based on a comic book which I've actually read, where it's all the kids talking about Batman, and it's like he's imagined through like different visions of people, and in one of them he's like a crazy demon monster thing. Those episodes are really good. Or the one where it's all the villains playing poker. That's also another fun one. It's just a good show.
Oh yeah,
Just a
that's
good show.
classic one.
Jordan, what's your next one?
My next one is Justice League Doom.
Each have a personal vendetta against the Justice League. Their deaths would serve my goals. You've all tried and failed to kill members of the League on multiple occasions.
Everybody take what you can and get out.
It's the Justice League.
Say goodnight, Ace.
Savage has foolproof plans for how we can destroy them.
Kryptonite bullet.
I will pay you $100 million.
Which might as well be called Batman versus the Justice League.
That one's also good.
Essentially.
You know,
yeah, based on the Tower
know,
of Babel storyline from the comics. Quite good.
Yeah, for those who don't know, basically supervillain gets a hold of all of Batman's contingency plans and uses it to fuck over the Justice League. That's the summation of that movie. It's good. It's so good.
Yeah. The best part's at the end, though, when the Justice League is like, spoiler alert, the Justice League is debating what to do with Batman after finding out that he had contingencies for all of them, and Batman's like, nah, I'm out. If you guys don't get why I did this, then we're done here.
Batman?
My actions don't require any defense. In the same situation, I do it again.
Oh, come on.
And so what's funny is so spoiler alert for one of my have scenes is I watched / played / read the comics of the Injustice storyline. And so that entire storyline is pretty much just a poster child for why Batman should have these contingency plans, because it sure seems like in that world he doesn't, and Superman takes over the world. So
I think that's actually what motivates him, isn't it? After meeting the Justice Lords, or
there's different.
Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
I was gonna say, the Justice Lords. What you're talking, there's different variations of the contingency plan story. The Justice Lords, I believe, is from the Justice League Unlimited, I believe.
But I think it's basically the Injustice storyline, just done in a kid friendly.
Oh yeah. The Doom ends up being the Injustice League. Yeah, I think it's Lex Luthor the whole time.
No. It's an actual. That's a good question. In the movie or the animated series?
In the movie, in Doom, it ends up being Vandal Savage. It doesn't it? Isn't he the main bad guy?
Yeah, in the movie, it's Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage, yeah.
I'm not sure about in the original comic book storyline.
In the comic book, it ends up being the computer, doesn't it? In the original comic book storyline. The brother basically becomes
Brother
Skynet.
Eye?
Yeah, it goes Skynet, and then it ends up enacting all the contingency plans. I could be wrong.
Yes,
wrong.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. That sounds familiar. It's been so long since I read the original comic book.
Yeah, it was really good.
But the movie is fantastic.
I mean,
it's kind of the summation.
I think this was when they started letting Kevin Conroy be PG-13, so he got to swear a little bit. I think this is when he started to be a bit more like he's Kevin Conroy, but he's not the Batman, the animated series Batman. Like this is like around the era when he started.
This is drawn differently, so it's more serious.
Yeah, it's good animation. Good. I quite like the art style. Some of these I like the art style more than others. You guys have anything else to say about?
This is definitely on the scale of the ones that I've seen. This is definitely closer to the top, I would say.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. Is that it? Is that all everyone's got?
That's all.
So
that's it. That's all.
I broke the bat. Today, I break the man.
Welcome to the Legion of Doom.
So now we're getting to the fun stuff, because we're going all the way back to 1966, and a little man named Adam West. as we talk about Batman the movie.
For big news.
The biggest.
Tell them, Robin.
Holy superlatives, Batman! It's really exciting. Soon, very soon, Batman and I will be batapulting right out of your TV sets and onto your theater screens.
That's right, Robin. Our first full-length motion picture feature in color opens a whole new world of thrills.
From 1966. And it was kind of during that movie when Robin went on this real tirade about people who drink that I realized, and after watching the 1940s Batman, was that Batman's kind of a conservative, or at least was kind of a conservative character. Like, he's real friendly with the police. He's got real, like, staunch, like, ideas. He's always, like, even at his most silly, he's still very serious.
To be fair, he has always bordered on police state thinking. So
I mean, it's one of the funniest bits is where, and it just runs so contrast to, like, modern Batman, who is constantly, like, on the run from the police, where, like, one of the bad kids is like, you should take off your mask and you reveal yourself, Batman. And even the police are like, no, Batman never takes off his mask, and we would never ask him to do that. He's an official deputy of the police. And it's just funny how, like, you know how in Watchmen, Night Owls, the original Night Owl, says how we all just kind of put on costumes and beat up criminals. It's kind of just what 60s Batman is. Like, he's unbelievably incompetent. He's not really good at anything, and the only reason why he succeeds is because his villains are even more incompetent. And it's just really funny because, like, there's moments where they're solving the Riddler's riddles, and they're they're fighting this boat. I don't know if you've seen the Batman movie, but they're fighting. They're in a helicopter, trying to get to this boat, and like this boat was on the sea. Sea for Catwoman.
There could be a penguin. But wait, it happened at sea. See? Sea for Catwoman.
Yet, that exploding shark.
It must be Catwoman. And you're like, whoa, that was a hell of a walk. I don't know how you got there.
Oh, you mean kind of like the Batman, where Batman doesn't actually solve any of the riddles they're solved for him? Entire movie?
Kinda, yeah. They
doesn't figure any of it out.
The riddle, it real harkens back to a real 60s Batman, yeah, where it's like, where he's just
to be fair, not every version of Batman is a good detective, and that is a point that I will be making in one of my later movies.
But there's a real funny bit where they're tied to this dinghy.
In Batman's defense,
they're shooting missiles at him, and it cuts, and they're now safe. And Batman's like, it sure is a good thing that out of nowhere, that porpoise jumped out of the water and jumped right in front of that missile, conveniently saving us. And Robin's like, yeah, that sure is lucky. Did the porpoise jump in front of the missile, Batman? Or did you throw the porpoise in front of the missile, Batman? Admit to your crime, Batman.
Animal cruelty. Who did?
I've heard of jumping the shark, but...
Jumping the porpoise.
It's real funny. Yeah, because it's just like... okay... Have you seen the Adam West Batman the movie? Yeah, you have seen it. Okay. I love the end. The end where he I love how they make it the point that none of his villains are really murderers. Like, they don't really, like, they dehydrate the people and like make extra carefully sure not to miss a single drop. We wouldn't want their families to be sad, which I thought was very funny. But there's the bit at the end where they mess up the security councils, all of their different sands or whatever, and so they're all speaking different languages, and Batman's like, yes, we've saved the day again, let's just slowly back out of this room, Robin, slowly, no, don't acknowledge it, nobody look at them, slowly back out of the room. Yeah, it's just...
Let's go, but inconspicuously. Through the window, we'll use our bat ropes. Our job is finished.
It was so funny how like modern Batman has been presented as this hyper competent, well trained, exceptionally executed, like expert,
militant
expert, and Adam West Batman is so like he just hops into a room and just punches people in the face. That's how.
And to be fair, the Adam West Batman, it became such a parody that things like SpongeBob and other shows have made fun of him for years.
I mean, that is true. The other thing that I thought was funny was Cesar Romero Joker with his little mustache that he refused to shave. He's not really a cackly character. Like, he doesn't do maniacal laugh. The Riddler is way more of a maniacal laughing character, which I thought was really, really interesting. I was like, oh, he's way more of the ha 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 ha. He's got the maniacal laugh, not really Joker. But anyway, that's Adam West Batman.
Scanner, eavesdropping on Batman's romance. And you'll shudder at the death-dealing Polaris missiles.
Brace yourself, Robin. This could be the end. And that's just a sample of the exciting exploits ahead in our first feature motion picture.
Holy memoranda, folks. Make a note not to miss it.
Good thinking, Robin.
Moving on.
So are we not gonna talk about Batman Beyond?
We can. You want to talk about Batman Beyond? We can absolutely.
Let's talk about Batman Beyond.
Let's talk
because
about
Batman Beyond is and it's not like people hate it. It's an underrated treasure.
It is
Batman Beyond is a concept.
An underrated treasure.
It's a concept that should not have worked, and yet Bruce Timm and his team are fucking geniuses, and they not only made it work, they made it really, really good, and it shouldn't be.
It's good, but the problem is kids weren't put off by it, which is why it didn't last as long as it should have.
No, it would have lasted longer. They pulled them all off to do Justice League.
Right.
The show was going strong. The show had good ratings.
I forgot
Kids
about
loved
that.
It even had a spin-off, which the spin-off didn't last very long, but
no.
I mean it got a season. But no, Batman Beyond was doing great, and then they pulled everybody off to do Justice League, which I mean to a point I get, but and I think, I'll be honest, I think Batman Beyond being 3 seasons is kind of perfect, because I think if it had gone into 4, 5, maybe 6, it probably would have started to get a little stale. But I think the secret to a success was it wasn't just rehashing all of Batman's old villains, although there are some callbacks.
Yeah.
Return of the Joker is an actually decent, like, made-for-TV movie.
Beware of his presence. The arch-enemy is back. He will threaten the city. He's a maniac with awful power. And no one can help. No one except Batman.
Yeah, I was going to bring that one up.
Yeah.
Because I have to be honest, I don't have strong memories of the show itself. But I have very strong memories of that special, The Return of the Joker, Will Friedle as Batman Beyond, Terry McGillis, and I have a lot of fond memories of that particular special.
That one's good. That special is good. The twist is good. It doesn't telegraph it really, really well, really badly. You know?
That's another kind of chilling scene is when they do the flashback and they see that Tim Drake has been Jokerized.
Yeah,
that whole bit is actually kind of like legitimate in a body horror sense. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's performance of like that's not funny. That's not
the part
funny at all.
The part where Terry McGillis Batman is taunting the Joker, like laughing and stuff, and he's like, "What's that? I thought you always wanted to make the Batman laugh."
Stop that! So you fell in a tank of acid, got your skin bleached, and decided to become a supervillain. What? You couldn't get work as a rodeo clown?
Don't you dare laugh at me!
Why? I thought the Joker always wanted to make Batman laugh.
You're not Batman!
And he's like, "You're not Batman." It's so good. Like
it's a really good scene, and I love how it points out the fact that like Terry McGinnis is Batman, but he's not just a rehash.
Yeah. His approach is going to be different.
They make it a point fairly often throughout the series because Terry, and the other thing that makes it fun is Terry is learning to be Batman, but so many times people underestimate him because they're expecting Batman, and Terry's like, why would I do that?
Yeah, that's what makes him. There's that really good episode.
I'm I'm not Bruce Wayne. I'm me, and I don't react to the same things
Yeah.
that he did.
Real
so
shame.
deal with it, suckers.
We were gonna get a movie. We didn't get. We were gonna get a movie made by the Spider-Verse people, and we didn't. And
I was going to bring that up,
Oh,
and I
that
would have
been so good. See, I was
I would have
hoping.
loved to see that.
You know what? Oh wait, you said Marvel. Never mind. The movie I wanted instead of the Flash, I wanted a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne.
And that would have been fun. That would have been different.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
They were
he's
gonna
old
do
man
it.
Wayne
They were gonna
in
do
the
it.
wheelchair, teaching Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, they were
I
gonna.
I
They were
want
gonna.
that.
They were gonna. And
Well,
then,
and would you like to know who I would cast as Terry McGinnis?
yes, we would.
Yes.
So this depends a little bit because Terry McGinnis's ethnicity is a little cloudy because he appears in the show to be of Asian descent, but if you look at his parents, neither one is Asian at all. In fact, they're extremely Irish. And then the fact that, spoiler alert, his DNA is actually just a carbon copy of Bruce Wayne's, not his father's.
Yeah.
So that's why Terry McGinnis has black hair. But for some reason, the character design makes him look Asian. But so a lot of people think that Terry McGinnis is of Asian descent. But assuming that he's not, I would have gotten. Why am I'm blanking on names today. The kid from Cobra Kai. Tanner Buchanan.
Ooh, don't know him by name.
He played. Did you watch Cobra Kai?
No.
Oh, okay. That's why you don't know.
You said Tanner.
Tanner Buchanan. He plays Robbie in Cobra Kai.
Jordan's doing the googs. Jordan will tell me. Jordan will tell me.
He would. I wouldn't be if I were in charge of putting that movie together. I wouldn't be married to it because I'd obviously see. But I would, and he has legitimate martial arts skill. He's got the body for it. He's got the athletic ability, and he'd be on my short list for sure.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure what his natural hair color is, but you could dye it black, and they could make that work.
You could.
Yeah.
See, I have my pick for, and I'm going to talk about it. Who I think should be the DCU Batman.
Well, so and my other caveat though is if there was a directive to saying, for reasons the studio wants to make sure that you have a Batman of Asian descent, I'd have to just do some research. But there's more than a few people that would fit that bill. But Tanner Buchanan to me would have the name value.
Yeah,
coming off of Cobra Kai, it's
I don't know who's
their peak to face a vengeful menace from the past, whose day is about to dawn again.
Let's dance.
Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, the first feature-length Batman Beyond movie.
Next one.
My next one is Batman versus Robin.
I've never seen that one.
I've half a mind to report you for Grand Theft Auto.
I'd like to hear that call. Hello, police. My son stole the Batmobile.
Remember, Robin, justice,
not vengeance. You never trusted me.
Trust has to be earned.
This one was basically the Court of Owls show up. The one owl dude. I have to be honest, I half watched a lot of these while I was doing other things, so I might mess up a few details on this one. But there's the Court of Owls who are trying to recruit different rich people and stuff like that because they show up and try to recruit Bruce Wayne at one point.
Yes, they're
and
big modern bad guys in Batman.
The one owl dude ends up getting Robin to go and like side with him because they're willing to like kill the bad guys instead of Batman, who's like, no, we can't kill. Classic Damian Wayne problem. I hate Damian Wayne as an aside. I hate that character so much in every iteration that he's in. He's the worst Robin. But anyways, this one's fine. In terms of on my scale of upper level or lower level Batman ones that I watched, this one's probably closer to the bottom because it's kind of forgettable.
I think I've seen this
Yeah.
one.
I would agree. It's the thing is, like, the animation's good, the combat scenes are really good, but the
Yeah.
story's kind of
Yeah, I would
This is
agree
like the
with that.
This is the Bad Blood timeline, right? That's the animated one.
Yeah, it's
I
that. I
think
don't.
so.
I think it is. It's the same art style.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
pretty
if it's
sure.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is in that.
Because this is
timeline.
technically the sequel to Son of Batman, right? I believe.
It's in that timeline. Yes.
Right. I'm pretty sure I've seen this
Now
one.
the thing is, it's confusing because that's the same art style as in shows like Young Justice, but those are expressly said to not be the same universe.
Yes.
So
yeah, those are ones where it's like it seems like it's like a mid career Batman. Like some of the iconic Batman stuff has happened to, but not all of it. Because I believe that that timeline also did Hush, I believe, but it's the Riddler Hush, not the. Yeah, the Court of Owls is an iconic. They're a modern classic in terms of Batman villains. Like there's a lot of people who think that they should do that for the Batman 2. Is they should do the Court of Owls.
So I've got one real quick, if I may.
You may.
So I'm sure you guys have seen this, but a little hidden gem. It's another example of one that absolutely should not work, but not only works, it's actually really, really good. Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh!
It all happened so fast. We have to stop them, Batman.
Whatever they are, they're going to regret stepping foot in Gotham.
This is a big score, gentlemen. It's the Bat! Fire! Fire! Do I look like a friggin' bat to you? Huh?
Yo, go get excited. You know what, Jordan? Wait, hold on. Jordan, do you have anything more to say about Batman?
No, that's
perfect.
really all.
You know
all
what?
I have to say
We'll
about
fucking
this.
skip ahead because I absolutely watched that this week. That movie's amazing.
It's so good.
I love that.
So
I love that one.
good because here's my thing with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
One.
I never appreciated them as teenagers. Like to me, they were more like teenage mutant guys in their 20s. Like that's kind of what they were like. But this movie, they are teenagers.
They're very much teenagers.
I love there's a really funny moment early on where Shredder shows up and beats up Batman, and then Batman just has this look on his face. I'm like, what the fuck? Like
this beats the shit out of him.
This shouldn't be happening right now. What is happening right now? Yeah, it's really
and Batman gets mad and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to open up a can of whoop ass on you."
Right? And yeah, I
proceeds to do so.
I love how you see
just love how he just casually knees him in the face, and then that's not good enough, so he just smashes his head against the rail,
right,
just to piss him off.
I love how Batman when he gets beaten, you see the difference in skill level because he shows up and fights the Turtles, and he easily beats the Turtles because they're just not as skilled in terms of fighting as Shredder is, and I like that difference. Also, like how Batman has this arc of having to learn not to be such a fuddy-duddy and like have a bite of pizza. Like my favorite moment at the end of the movie is where he takes a bite of pizza. He folds the pizza in half and takes a bite. I like that's great.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. And my only real which it's not even really a complaint, more of an observation. They do kind of meander off in the whole like mutation at Arkham bit, but it's still fun.
It's a fun sequence though, and it is kind of upsetting when they all transform. It is kind of an upsetting moment, like body horror kind of moment, where it's like this is kind of grotesque.
And that's what they're going for. But yeah, this is a movie that should not work. And I remember so much. The exact same thing happened with Godzilla -1 when I first saw the trailer. I saw it on Facebook of all places, and my first reaction was, I mean, because I'm a massive TMNT fan, so I was like, I really want to see this. I don't know how they're going to make it work, but if anybody can do it, it's these people. And then I got it because I no questions asked. I bought it because I knew I had to see this, and I was legitimately shocked with how good of a story they managed to put together.
Yeah,
see, it's funny because when I first heard about it, my first reaction was kind of like, really? Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then I sat with it for a couple minutes and I was like, well, I mean, he is the guy that teamed up with Scooby-Doo and the gang. So it's really not that weird. And then I watched it and I was like, this is awesome. I love this.
There's apparently
It's
like
so good.
2 more comics.
Like, it's so good.
Because this is obviously based off of a comic run. There's like 2 more of them.
Yeah, I was unaware of the crossover comic, which I found out later, and I'm like, oh, that tracks.
This is an adaptation of the first one, I believe. And I think there's at least
It's also
I know there's one more at least.
It's also just funny to me when you think about like, okay, so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have crossed over with Power Rangers and they've crossed over with Batman. Now I just want there to be that crossover between Batman and Power Rangers and have Batman in a Power Rangers suit. Tell me that's happened.
Jordan, it's happened. Well, I'm pretty sure it's happened. I'm pretty sure there's a Boom Comics where they've teamed up. With the Justice League and Power Rangers have teamed up.
I think in comic book form it has, but unfortunately, at least for the foreseeable future, that is not a team up you will see.
No. But Superman beat Godzilla.
Funnily, I was gonna say, but funnily enough, there was a time when you could have theoretically seen that team up. I'm not sure how they would have had to do it animated on the Power Rangers part, but
yeah, I think so.
Actually, that would have been relatively easy to do because this is wild licensing, kids. Batman the Animated Series for a time, at least in the States, was being broadcast on Fox Kids.
It was, yeah. Yeah, for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, which it would eventually move over to Kids WB, but for a time, it was being broadcast on Fox Kids. And that would have been around the same time as Power Rangers, the first season airing. So they They could have done animated inclusion of the Power Rangers with all the voice actors. It's something that could have been done.
I mean, that's so good. It's good shit. Giving the people what they want. Jordan.
But
what's your next one?
My next rapid fire is Batman and Superman, Public Enemies.
That's awesome. A good one.
Which is fantastic.
I don't love the art style though.
That's me. I don't love the art style, but the concept it's different, but it's cool because it's essentially a fugitive movie.
It is, yeah. I mean, the notion of
and of course
Lex Luthor being president.
It has to be Superman being injured because Superman would just carry Batman. So it works conceptually. It works.
It's also.
I just love the Lex becomes president of the United States and Superman is immediately like, yeah, no, that's suspicious. That's like, no, that I'm not falling for that bullshit. And the world is like, come on, Superman, he's the president. You can't just go around punching him anymore. And Superman's like, hold my beer.
I'm gonna punch the president. I'm gonna punch him right in his stupid face.
Hold my non-alcoholic beer. I'm gonna take care of some shit.
Is this the one?
Go punch the president, and then by the end of it, Lex Luthor has gone full crazy like always, and Superman does a big punch, and he's like, I think you're gonna be impeached, Lex.
That's the one where he's juicing himself with kryptonite steroids, right?
Yeah, kryptonite steroids. Yeah,
that one's good.
There's the big like hunk of Krypton which is flying towards the planet, and they've got the I don't remember the character's name. The
toy maker.
Toy maker, thank you. Little Japanese toy maker. Who makes the half Batman, half Superman rocket to go up and punch it or whatever. And Power Girl, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait out here. And they're like, he's just a kid, and she's like, he's not as much of a kid as you might think. And then the toy maker is like, tell her sorry about my X-ray glasses. And I'm just like, ha.
It's funny because in the comic that this is based off, they toned him down way more. He's way more of a gross pervert. He makes a comment about how everyone loves the boob window. Everyone's loving a good boob window. It's hard to argue with.
He's not wrong, you know.
He's not wrong.
The window is open.
The window, everyone does love a good. My favorite part about Power Girl's boob window, how it's in the exact shape of the Superman crest. Like you could cover it up if you really wanted to.
Just cut that out.
Like with I don't know, a Superman crest.
Like a well, I think that was a character arc she had in the comics where she was trying to earn the Superman crest because she went through a period of time.
Just leave a giant hole there instead.
I metaphorically, I guess, because there was a point where they eventually did fill the boob window with the
Superman crest.
With the Superman crest, yeah.
It's like just give it to me, Superman. Just give it to me. What? The S. Give me the
But overall, I like this one's fun. It's pretty short, pretty sweet. Gets to the point pretty quickly. So I think it was only like an hour 10, something like that. A lot of these are, and that's one thing that I kind of discovered I liked about these movies is a lot of them are fairly short, and I appreciated that. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it was fun.
All right.
That's all I really have to say.
Did either of you guys watch Batman and Harley Quinn?
Jordan did.
So goes back to. Oh, sorry. You go ahead. I didn't mean to.
I was gonna say that's my last one. So
we'll circle back.
We'll circle back to it.
I've got
Justin. Do you have one more?
So Jordan, that you have one more rapid fire?
I have one more rapid fire.
Okay, then I'm gonna just real briefly. I'm gonna talk about the Penguin because I promised the audience we talk about the Penguin. But just real quickly, I want to dip into in regards to the 1960s Batman. They made a couple of movies called Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders.
Welcome to Gotham Palace.
On tonight's show, Hector and the Ho-Daddies.
Holy, unholy alliance! Our greatest foes have reunited.
Where
I think I've seen that one.
Wait, when Jay comes back, we'll see if he's seen them. But for those of you who haven't seen Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders, it's an animated movie where they bring back some to most of the 60s animated 60s Batman cast. And
it's in the Adam West style, right?
Yeah, it's in the Adam West style. It very much takes place in his universe. Yeah. Have you seen Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders, Jake?
No.
No, it's an animated movie. It takes place in the Adam West Batman animated universe, and they got Adam West back. They got Burt Ward back. They got they have an imitator doing Cesar Romero, and they got the original Riddler, and I don't think they got Burgess Meredith. And it's basically a 1960s. The plot of it is basically all the bad guys. Batman essentially gets mind whammied by Catwoman, and it turns him into a villain. And so he decides they have a replicator ray, and he decides that the only way to make Gotham safe is to turn everyone into Batman and take over. So there's just a series of scenes where Adam West Batman is just evil and taking over Gotham. And it turns out that if Batman went evil, he'd be remarkably effective. And there's a really funny.
That's awesome.
It's honestly pretty funny. It's one of those things where it's another case of they're trying to match this style and they're intentionally trying to do what the 60s animated series did unintentionally, if that makes any sense. And so in that regard, it kind of comes across a little hokey and corny at times, but Adam West is phenomenal in everything. He's basically Mayor West as Batman. There's a really funny bit early on when he's first starting to become mind whammied, where you're like, what if Christian Bale Batman was Adam West Batman? They're like 10 minutes of that movie is just that. It's him interrogating criminals and breaking arms and being modern day Batman, but it's 60s Batman.
It's just Guru from DBZ. Where is he?
A little bit, yeah. There's a really funny bit early on because it's trying to be it's the 60s Batman, where they're chasing after bad guys and the bad guy crosses the street and Batman and Robin are like, no, we have to go to the crosswalk. As duly deputized.
Jaywalking is extremely hazardous, especially at night. As duly deputized officers of the law, it is imperative we follow the rules.
Gosh, yes, you're right, Batman. No one's above the law, even when you're trying to enforce it.
Quickly, Robin, to the crosswalk.
Citizens of the law, we have to use the crosswalk, so they run and use the crosswalk. It's a very fun movie, but since we have thoroughly expressed our dislike and our distaste for the Batman, Jake, I can't imagine you've seen Penguin, have you?
Come on. You gotta help me up.
Life is just a dream.
You promised me, Oswald. I know, Ma. I deserve a better life. I'm working on it.
The world ain't set up for the honest man to succeed. That should be the American dream right there.
No, and I'm not going to.
It's not very good, Jake. It's not very good.
Who'd have thought?
Well, okay, I don't think it's very good.
Who'd have thought that making an entire miniseries based on a side character from a movie that was frankly mediocre at best?
Yeah,
Who'd have thought that show wouldn't turn out to be very good?
I mean, okay. It's here's the thing. It might be a hot take of me to say it's not very good. It is a well-received show and a lot of people like it. And like in terms of as far as mob shows go, it's all right. Like I quite like Colin Farrell's Penguin. I think he's entertaining. I think he's charismatic. Anytime he's on screen, I said this in a video on TikTok, but I said anytime he's on screen, he made me forget how much I hate this show. Because it was like a big part of the plot of this show is it takes place after the movie, which for those of you who don't remember the end of that movie, big flood, Gotham is in disarray. And as a result of what's happened in that movie, there's now this major gang war. But Batman's just not around. Despite the fact that even though he was tracking and you know, following this crime family, the Maroni and the Falcone crime families, he's now just sitting out this major gun war amongst them. Like the show, they never mention Batman once. They never address Batman once. He never comes up. And Batman, even at this point in his career, is well known enough that he would be around. Like you would at least reference him.
Yeah, or I was gonna say, or at the very least, they would be like, "Oh shit! Like we got to make sure we don't get caught, so the Bat doesn't show up and beat the shit out of us."
Exactly.
Like there would be some reference to him.
Exactly.
And so for me, like I didn't obviously watch it, and I have no intent on watching it. But for me, at that point, why attach it to Batman at all?
Right?
Like, why not just make it a crime show?
It also
a different, like, yeah, I don't get it.
It also, okay, it looks and has the same aesthetic and like set design and all that of the Batman. And it's been a while since I've seen it, but that was a PG rated movie, right? Or in your case, PG-13 rated movie? Like there wasn't like cursing or anything in it, was there?
Not that I remember.
No? Jake, do you remember?
No.
No? Because this is a very coarse show. It's R-rated. So it's bloody, it's
totally inconsistent.
Yeah, it's got like the Penguins dropping F-bombs every like second or third word. And so it's just like, so this, and it's being praised for its grit. So it's like, okay, it gets to be this gritty thing now. So what, Batman 2 is going to come out and it's just going to be PG rated? Like you're self-neutering your own universe, which you've like given freedom to be this R-rated violent thing. So you're going to go back to not being violent? Or is the Batman 2 now going to be R-rated? It makes this universe, in my opinion, incoherent. And it makes the show agitating to watch. Because you're like, where's Batman? And why does he get to blow some guy's head off? Like, Batman didn't get to do that. But yeah, bad show. Not a good show. Didn't enjoy it very much. If my thing is, if you don't like the Batman, you're not going to like it. That's my main thing.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't even matter if you like the Batman because he has no part in this show.
I mean, for all I know, maybe he shows up. It doesn't sound like it. From what I read, he absolutely does not show up in this show. But like, at least the Riddler, like they mentioned the Riddler in passing. Like, yeah, they're not gonna get Paul Dano to show up, but like at the very least they like mention him. Like that's my thing. It's like I'm not saying Batman needs to show up. Like, I get it. You can't get Robert Pattinson. He's expensive. He's doing Megalopolis. Pretty sure he did Megalopolis. Like, he's doing other things. I get it. Whatever. But, like, you can at least be like, Batman fucked up our ring of drugs or whatever. Like...
Or conversely, you could have it where, like, yeah, you don't see Batman, but the police are calling for Batman with the spotlight in the sky, and you see his symbol.
Right.
That can't cost a lot of money.
It just makes...
that's at least a reference to Batman that shows that like people are trying to get his attention. And he hasn't just abandoned his city.
It just makes Batman look incompetent. It makes the Robert Pattinson Batman look incompetent. Because I'm like, what? He's not stopping this gang war in his city? Like, no, yeah, it makes him look bad. It makes him look bad, in my opinion. And then Matt Reeves is out there defending it, being like, oh, Batman's just traumatized by the damage that has been done upon his city, and that's why he's been sitting this out. It's like, so Batman, Robert Pattinson Batman's just a pussy then. So, he's just
womp womp
womp. This universe sucks. That's it. That's the Penguin.
Oh, he's not traumatized. He's just sitting in his room writing poetry about
it. He's crying. How could this happen to me?
It's like there was something in the way.
Oh, I have to. I think I've done this. I've phrased this before, but I have to shout out your guys' review of the Batman because just that the opening bit where you both look sad and Eric just slowly pulls out a guitar. I
Batman. Underneath the bridge, Starburst throwing up.
Died. I laughed so hard. It was so funny. I was like, that's funny. Just spawned it like there's something in the.
We still argue about that movie.
So he thinks it's good. You think it's bad?
Thinks it's good.
He thinks
I think it's terrible.
I'm of a middle ground. It's number one, too long. It's way too long. That's also a problem this show has. It has horrid pacing. It's like I was 30 minutes into the first episode and I went, holy shit, I'm only halfway through the first episode. What the fuck? There's the same thing in the Batman. The pacing is horrid pacing.
I've only watched the Batman once, and I seem to remember thinking it was very boring.
Very slow, very boring, very dull. It's got some decent action sequences. Like I will say I think it's the most fluid Batman has ever looked. Like I maintain, with the exception of the Ben Affleck Batman, no Batman has looked good in live action. In a fight sequence anyway. Not a single one.
That's fair as long as you have the caveat of except for Batfleck.
Batfleck looked good. He did look good in live action. Like he's the white. He looked fluid. He looked good. That one. We're gonna get there. It's coming next. But he did look good. But yeah, that's it. That's the Penguin for me. Jordan, what's your final rapid fire?
My final rapid fire is Batman and Harley Quinn.
Okay, we got one Power Girl jumbo combo. Gonna lose that hand, Puddin'. Anything else for you today, boys?
Gotta be her.
Hey, try to work here.
Pamela, we are out of time.
Bingo.
At last, Mother Earth's salvation.
Look how beautiful you are.
It works.
Circling back to Batman and Harley Quinn.
I like. I had a lot of fun with this one. Every time it makes me chuckle after Nightwing and Harley Quinn have their romp, and Batman comes in and he looks the place over, and Nightwing mutters to himself like, "You've never slept with a supervillain." Makes me laugh every time. Like, I find that joke genuinely funny because he does kind of have a track record, doesn't he?
That he does.
My thing with that one, the reason why I didn't care for it, because I don't know, I just find sex jokes in Batman the Animated Series off-putting for whatever reason, and it looks like Batman the Animated Series, so I don't know, there's just something about it that I'm like, oh, I don't know, it puts me off for some reason, so I've never actually watched it.
I mean,
watch the
there's
Killing Joke then.
No, I don't like that one either.
Yeah, there's that too. But I mean, in Batman the Animated Series, and I didn't get to these episodes, so I'm going off of memory. But isn't there a joke where Harley Quinn is in a cream pie, and there's like I I don't want to say the joke, but you know the joke.
It's in there.
And it's in there. So it's like that. There is precedent in Batman the animated series for those kind of things, which is why it doesn't throw me off.
There's also the infamous where she's trying to get the Joker to fuck her, and
Yeah.
he's too busy. He's too busy hatching a plan, and she gets up in a negligee and literally goes, "Want to ride your Harley?"
Okay, that was from
Just
that.
like-
I was
I'm
trying to
like-
remember if that was from
I'm
that.
literally, I'm like, wow, this is a children's show.
Right? Right?
Children are watching this. They don't know what they're watching.
So yeah, so that's why it doesn't throw me off when they make jokes like that in this one.
I figure the fart jokes are the most off-putting.
Hey, you really want to stop the car this time. Those Hawk Girl spicy wings I had at Super Babes are doing a tango in my tummy. Seriously, I'm dying back here. Fine.
Oh, holy.
It's not so bad. Smells like discipline.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're funny. I mean, off-putting in the sense that like it's jarring to a fan of Batman the Animated Series because I can't remember a single fart joke in that whole show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, is that the one
That
where
being
they're
said,
in the car? They're
It's
driving
it's
the-
it's
yeah, yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, they're in the car, and she's like, pull over," and he doesn't, and she farts. And Nightwing's like, "Oh God," Batman's like, "It's not that bad. It smells like justice." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous."
But no, it smells like discipline. That's what he says.
That's what it was. Discipline.
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 It's funny. It's a fun little movie, and plus Harley
It's-
Quinn
yeah.
gets some like legitimate agency for
being Harley.
It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Where she actively
Plus,
tells
I-
Joker to fuck off on her own accord.
And I just kind of appreciate in this one where it's like, yeah, it's after her Joker period, and she's like, nobody will take me seriously. They think I'm they think I'm a clown. You think you think I'm a criminal. They think I'm a whore. And it's like, you know what? Fair enough. You would have a hard time getting taken seriously after,
That's why you don't shack up with
Wh-
supervillains. I mean, it's
exactly.
kind of a thing that will stay with you. It's not a neck tattoo.
Exactly.
It can't be removed that easily.
But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about that one. It's a good one. I enjoy it. It's fun.
I enjoy Melissa Rauch's Harley Quinn.
I didn't love her Harley Quinn, but to be fair, I'm so primed to Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong that it like
I do prefer Tara Strong's.
I prefer, I prefer Tara Strong's as well. But if I can't get Tara Strong, I'm okay with the one that I got for this. I think she does an.
It's better than Kaylee Cuoco's.
What? I like Kaylee Cuoco. I like that show.
I like
I have a
Kaylee
hard time with
Cuoco's
that
for what it is.
I will
Which,
say
like-
Tara Strong or Melissa Rauch would be a little bit much for that show.
Yeah, like to me, in that version, of Harley Quinn, to me that's a parody of DC. So like it works in a parody sense. Because obviously Bane in that show is very much a parody. I love the version of Bane.
I
they have
love
in
Bane
show.
in
It's
that
so
show.
funny. Batman is a parody of himself. Like all of the superheroes are like the point where they get here with
Where did this map come from? I'm still on a goddamn folding chair.
Jesus, Bane! We all thought it would be funny if we gave you a folding chair, and we were right.
Oh, I see your joke now. Your jest will be avenged.
yeah.
Everyone else has. I can't
the
tell if I
point-
notice. Everyone has normal chairs, but me.
Why do I get the tiny chair? Come
I do
on.
like that. But I'll tell you what, my favorite version of King Shark is actually in The Suicide Squad with
Oh, that was also good.
Stallone.
Yeah, the Sylvester Stallone.
Me
King Shark.
read book good.
Nom
I
nom.
mean,
Dumb friends.
I kind of enjoy the version that's in Harley Quinn where it's like,
I like
if I don't play my video games, then I start thinking. And when I start thinking, I get upset. And I'm like, relatable. Very relatable.
That's funny.
But no, yeah, I like this movie. Is the point? It's mid level on my list of bad versus good movies.
It's popcorn fun.
It's
It
Yeah.
is what it is, and they know what it is, and they hit a home run with what it is.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I don't know how we got turned around here, but I'm on to have scenes. So I guess I'm starting half scenes.
I'm on to have scenes as well. That was my last because you had two.
Oh yeah, because I just quickly did. Yeah. You know what? Let's start with Batman Forever.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black
In an uncertain world, in a chaotic time, justice wears a mask.
Because but my thing with Batman Forever is, and to be fair, I come from these movies from two kind of perspectives: the me as an adult and me as a kid. Me as a kid is my favorite Batman movie because it's got Jim Carrey in it, and Jim Carrey, I love Jim Carrey as a kid. And it's really funny because I always used to be like, oh, he'd be better suited to the Joker. But now having watched Adam West Batman, no, he's doing a real good approximation of 60s Riddler. Like, of that, like, cackling, like, doing an evil laugh, sort of Riddler. But I mentioned the story of him on Norm Macdonald. So he was on Norm Macdonald, and he told this story about how Tommy Lee Jones, he ran into Tommy Lee Jones when they were about to shoot like their big scene together, and he like had this pained look on his face, and he like brought him in close. He's like, I really don't like you. And then he said, I cannot sanction your buffoonery. But like, having now watched this movie, what the fuck is he even talking about? He is buffooning all over this fucking movie. Like, what is he sanctioning? He's more buffoonish than Jim Carrey is, if anything, doing a more like a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Understated performance. It's not understated, but compared to Tommy Lee Jones, it's understated.
I'm gonna go with it might have been a joke.
Maybe the way he tells the story, he tells as if it actually happened. So like, I'm just like, so that probably caused me to go look this up, and I'm like, Tommy Lee Jones has never addressed it, so it just kind of makes it seem like maybe he made it up. Maybe it didn't actually
Pretty sure
happen.
Tommy Lee Jones is trying to forget that he was in Batman Forever.
I mean, I will say there was stuff I didn't realize you actually get to see Two-Face's origin in that movie. Like, I completely forgot. You actually see, like, there's a flashback scene where you see Tommy Lee Jones as regular Tommy Lee Jones getting splashed in the face with acid. Although they call him Harvey Two-Face the whole movie, it drove me crazy. I'm like, his name is Two-Face.
The origin. There's different versions of the origin story, but Harvey Dent is known as Two-Face before the.
Is he? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Because he's a politician.
Well, so yeah, to be fair, in The Dark Knight, he down in Gordon's office, they refer to him as Two-Face before he becomes Two-Face. So.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, because I knew that the part of his backstory was him getting splashed in the face with acid in court. Like, that's a big part of it. But I didn't realize that you actually see Batman like try to stop it. They have a whole scene that you see. Like, man, I do not remember this. You don't like Robin. Don't like Robin in those movies. He's annoying. His arc is dumb. The fact that Batman
Forever, it's been forever since I've watched it. Is Batman Forever the one where they have bat nipples?
No, that's Batman and Robin. This is the one before Bat Nipples. This is
okay.
It's still trying to pretend it's a Tim Burton movie because it takes place in the Tim Burton universe. So technically speaking, Val Kilmer Batman is technically Michael Keaton Batman still, because they make reference.
They say that, but
because they make reference to events of the previous movies. Like, he talks about how when she's into Batman, she said, "Oh, if I put on a whip and leather, you'd be more interested in me." Referencing that, there's a couple of references to.
Now, maybe she's just kinky.
Maybe it's certainly possible. She is a psychiatrist. That's her whole thing. She wants to
she's definitely kinky.
She wants to psychoanalyze Batman. That's the whole. That's the whole thing.
That's what we That's what we call casting a line. Is you
Yeah.
throw it out there. It's a Gage joke, where it's like he says that and he goes, ha ha ha, yeah, no, and then she's like, oh, okay, he's not. But if he said maybe, she go, okay, okay,
all right.
okay. I know what you're about, Bruce.
It's also funny the Riddler's evil plan. I love watching movies from the 90s which posit this thing that seems incredible but actually happened in real life. So the box and everyone being hooked up to this box, that's just the internet. That's just social media. It's just social media.
That's just a local area network, man.
Right? Like it's just like, yeah, man, we're all sucked into that. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I don't know. I love the Riddler's costume design. Two-Face looks terrible. Like the pink. What is the pink? I don't understand where that's coming from. I guess that's supposed to be like his skin turned pink when it got splashed with acid.
It was the toys. It was for the toys.
But yeah, as a kid, Batman Forever was my favorite. Now, as an adult, I think of those original four, it's probably Batman the movie. That's probably my favorite Batman movie now. It's honestly really good. I really enjoyed Batman the movie. I was impressed by how not that one manages to not be overly Tim Burton-y, and it's not as bad as Batman Returns, my most successful TikTok.
Well, Batman Returns is quite a bad movie just on its face, and then the other reasons. See, I agree with you. I think the Penguin is too Tim Burton-y.
A little bit, yeah. He's a really Tim Burton-y, really Tim Burton-y. But like I don't know. At least I like him better than to go back to the Colin Farrell Penguin, where he's just a friggin' gangster with no discernible and he waddles like a penguin. I guess compared to that, at least he's penguin-like.
Wow.
Like my thing with the Penguin is when people get upset about or like invested in the Penguin, I automatically go, the Penguin's not cool. Like the Penguin's just not cool. Like when I think of the Penguin, I think of Burtis Meredith and like the cigarette holder and the top hat and the animated series Penguin. The one who's lame. Like the Penguin is lame. That's his whole thing. The Joker's the cool one.
Oh, Michelangelo didn't think he was lame. He has a gun in his umbrella.
I mean, yeah, that's true. He does have a gun in his umbrella. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much. Oh, I will say it's funny. It's Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey plays a pretty good villain. It's still, we talked about Jim Carrey last week, but he's still in his identity crisis of not knowing who he wants to be in Hollywood. Also, our most controversial video turned out to be where I said Jim Carrey was an insufferable douche. But I stand by that. He's an insufferable douche. John. Well, that's it. That's it. You made it to the end of part 1 of our 2-part videos series about Batman and the various Batman stuff along the way. If you want to find out about 1940s Batman, and if you want to hear our debate about Batman versus Superman, you can go ahead and click on over to part 2. You can hear all of that there. Plus, we got some of the fun animated stuff in there as well. And if you want to see the full podcast, the full 4-hour podcast we did with Jake, you can click the video on the right, and I'm hoping, if I can figure it out, you will have been recommended the Jim Carrey video, the highly controversial Jim Carrey video where we called him an insufferable douche. You can check that out as well. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Have you seen 1960s Batman? What do you think of any of the stuff we talked about in this video? Let me know. Hit like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you in part 2, everybody.